Hi, this is OCA, and I present you to the next generation of home cinema sound calibration, GSonic Evo 32.
GSonic Evo 32.
Okay, I have managed to avoid speaking up until this point, but there's no way to completely mute myself from the tutorial, so here we go. By the way, I hope you made it through the 5-minute intro along with explaining how Evo 32 works and what it can do. I have also included instructions for GSonic Immersive. Most of those cover recent updates and features that weren't included in the original GSI video. After downloading the MSI file from Gumroad, double-click, accept terms and license agreement, install. And this is something you will do only once because the app auto-updates itself for future versions. So no longer having to check your email for updates or hunt down the original receipt for download links. And GSonic Immersive has also got this update, and it will auto-update itself going forward. I'm deliberately installing an older version so I can also do the update procedure. Now once you install it, you will find here in the start menu the app. Just click it once and it starts, and look, there is version 095 available. Open the download page, and this is because it is not signed. Run anyway is all you need to close the app. During the update it should ask you if you want to close it. Close the application, and this is all you need to do for the updates going forward. Hopefully there will not be many. Finish, and now what we have here is the new version. Oh, I managed to open it twice. So resize the window as long as you can, preferably of the logs. And because this was used before, it is saved in its memory, the last device you have used, the last measurement folder you have used, etc. And it also saves your target curves. But I will scan the network just to show you the first time you have to do this. Or you can just enter the IP number here. That takes like 5 seconds, and look, it found 2 AVRs on my network, so you can pick one. You can use unlimited number of AV receivers with this app, but the installation, the app is only valid for one PC. And it's not picky with the PC, it only needs some speed, otherwise you wait longer. But unlike the GSonic Immersive app, it doesn't have to send Atmos signals through the HDMI output and read the microphone input, etc. So this is not really PC dependent. You have to decide where you're gonna install it upfront because you have only one PC license. If you try to install it in another PC, you will lose the activation. For AV receivers, it's unlimited. You can use the same app from the same computer with as many different AV receivers as you want. So I picked Marantz Cinema 40, and then the general usage of the app is going down these steps one by one, or you just click all auto and it will all be done for you. Basically, to use the app without any hesitation, all you have to do, and I suggest you all do this once at least, use all auto, and then it will just go through all these steps on its own, and finally just transfer the calibration to your AVR. That's all you have to do. Even the target curve will be automatically selected for your room. But let's go the manual way right now. You go to session, you browse and pick the measurements you have taken with GSonic Immersive. They all end with Evo 32 suffix like this, which you can also change, but why would you? Because it already has a time and date stamp. So select the measurement folder, and it's checking already, so it's gonna validate the measurements in that folder against what is in the Cinema 40 configuration at the moment. So speaker by speaker, and for each speaker, if every single measurement is taken correctly, like 4 different measurements around the MLP and 3 repeat measurements at MLP for each and every speaker and sub. So it's validated, and it gives you already the crossover frequencies that it's gonna be searching. Okay, and I wouldn't touch any of that. It's very intelligent, but if you want, you can here adjust the crossover frequencies, the range that you want it to search. If you give here absurd frequencies, it may not find the solution and prompt you for that. So leave it as is and go to calibrate. Here in calibrate, auto this room, when you click that, And here you can use a previous result as well. It automatically found, based on my front speaker, this room's target curve. There is the normal defaults, which are REW defaults, like expected room shape, in-room target shape, more like, because speaker responses, anechoic responses are all flat. Okay, everything, even the cheapest speaker, comes out flat from the factory. But in-room response has a tilt, and this tilt is not the same everywhere. It's more or less like that in general, but depending on your room size and the speaker directivity and the distance to MLP, it changes a little bit, and auto calculates that. Norm defaults are basically REW defaults. So auto, and from here, this is all you need to do, and start calibration and it will be done. But if you want to use your own target curve at some point, you can adjust where bass starts rising. Like instead of 200 Hz, maybe you want 250 Hz, or your Schroeder frequency is lower and you want to start it at 150 maybe. And then the bass rise angle, which you can adjust depending on how much bass you want. That's very depends on the taste, but be careful with this, because even here this is gonna give very good bass. When the subs are aligned perfectly, then you will see that you don't really need a high slop. But I will not comment on people's bass taste, it really varies. Even mid-range doesn't need to be flat, so you can adjust its angle like that. And as you see, when you adjust the target, the speaker automatically leveled on the target. So you will see the final leveling of the speaker on this target curve dynamically actually. And where treble starts going down, you can change, and look, after we change, you can also change this angle. And the more you change it, the more the speaker is being leveled. As you see, it's dynamic. Volume level is something calculated from around 3000 Hertz. The bass has no effect. Back to auto, or okay, let's say this is my target, and here you can save this target curve library and give it a new name. Let's say OCA5, save to library, and from now on you have this target here. You can load it, save it, whatnot. Here you decide reference place. Let's say auto room curve, and flat your saved curve, or leave flat for dialogue clarity. The dialogue clarity here is no EQ filters or anything like that on the center speaker, but it aligns subwoofers fully on the center speaker, which means you will not have as good bass as the subs were aligned to the front speakers, but center speaker dialogue will be much clearer. So this is good for low volume listening, where you don't need the really good bass from the fronts, but you just want to understand the conversation, which is the case at late night listening usually. So it does a very good job. How can it align subwoofers differently from reference to flat mode? Because normally distances are fixed between Odyssey modes, you know, and crossovers are fixed and volume levels are fixed, but Evo 32 can change this. You will see the distance are still identical between these modes, but internally with filters, it moves the subs back and forth, even inverts. So dialogue clarity really makes a difference in dialogue. Try it. It's not just the old equal counter level bass and treble boosting algorithm, which actually never makes the dialogue more clear. It's just the opposite. It's only good for music, late night music listening, because the bass and high frequencies just get boosted, but the dialogue which lives here becomes even less audible. So this is the opposite of it. And then you press start calibration, and here it goes. This is quite a long, depending on the number of speakers in your system and the speed of your computer, it might take as much as 20 minutes, but it saves because this is the very first calculation, it's gonna take longer. But in fact, next time you come, you can just say use previous results. So some basic calculations, it automatically reads from the previous run, and then it will only last 5 minutes or 3 minutes sometimes. But the very first calibration will take a while. Okay, 5 minutes on, and still calculating. So to talk more about the target curve, actually in the no speech slides earlier in the video, these were all explained, but you decide the tonal balance with your target curve. Everything underneath, which frequencies to correct, how aggressively to correct them, how the filters interact, and how to achieve the target without compromising natural behavior of the system, is where Evo 32 takes over. And the reason it's taking so long is because the search space is built around the hardware. So the optimization engine doesn't just design filters in an abstract mathematical world, hoping the receiver can reproduce them. It simulates the receiver's decimated, down-sampled DSP filters and evaluates the correction at the same reduced resolution imposed in the hardware. That means optimizer sees the actual solution space available to the receiver, including the constraints imposed by the limited number of taps after decimation, and search that space very intelligently with seeded gradient descent. So it's eliminating millions of possibilities, but even then it takes a long time. But the optimized results are not what is theoretically possible, but it's what your receiver can actually do in that room. That's why the interface and everything else is so different with this app. It's a paradigm shift, and you will be hearing the difference. 7 minutes, 35 seconds already. But as I said, only the first run is that long. As long as you don't change your speaker configuration and whatnot, next time you open the app, it will start from some base measurements already saved, so it will finish within 3 to 5 minutes in most computers. And also depends on if you have 16 channels active, it will take slightly longer. You may want to read these logs if you are very much interested in the theory of this, but for majority of you, click all auto and wait, and then go enjoy your sound. In some cases, it may ask you that you have good LFE plus main option in your room. That is actually what you call MIMO filters for the front sound stage, and you may give it a try. It's able to send the calibration to any preset you have them, and you may switch between reference and flat, which target curve you want to send. The options are vast. Obviously you cannot have MIMO and classical small speaker configuration under the same preset. That is still a restriction, but different presets, nothing stops you. But only in very few rooms it will require LFE plus main. And calibration complete. It shows you the folder where it added all the calibration files. So these files it's gonna use next time for quicker calculations. And here are the results. Crossover frequencies. Here it checks for LFE plus main and gives you comments about what you should do. Here you can review your results if you want to, but just go to transfer and get it finished with. If you have any problems, it saves a support bundle as a zip file, and you can share this with me for further evaluation. But please don't use this to see if your results are good. Just listen to your results. And if you click review results, you can see distortion maps for your complete system. This is how it knows where to stop boosting bass, 3 subwoofers, as you see. Don't worry if you get red numbers here sometimes. It doesn't mean it's boosting too much. It means it knows where to stop boosting your subs. You can also understand if any of your speakers are defected in here. And load graphs if you want. Here's the front sound stage bass integration with the subwoofer and your front speakers. The subwoofer correction, distances, trims. The trims are only multiples of 0.5 dB here, but the filters are able to trim with much higher precision and way outside the 12 dB limits if needs to. These are the speakers before and after correction. Like some of you may wonder, why is there a small peak here? It's because this is the optimal that this AVR can do. And you apply a filter that looks flat here, not gonna result flat. And these are audibly much better than any other filter you will see, like completely flat responses here, like many people think is good calibration, is not. You will see that with the results of Evo 32. And show filters. These are mixed phase filters, by the way. It's not minimum phase. There is linear phase portion. So it inverts excess phase and it aligns driver timing to each other between tweeter and mid-range drivers, for example. That evolves the sound. None of these were possible before with any other app. The LBC can do that, of course. Filters are open to it. Now we can do that as well, and that's how it's gonna dwarf other calibrations. Next is transfer. All auto will do all these, by the way. You don't have to do any of that. And here you pick your flat reference calibration and flat calibration and which preset you want, both slows with the same calibration. It's already loaded, so all you have to do is, I understand that this is gonna erase all the previous filters and transfer the device. And transfer complete. And it also checks if the telnet commands went in correctly. So that's a double click, and there is a log here for the complete transfer. And you're done, and go and listen to it. That's all you need to do. Help file, and all these logs are copy pastable, so you can use a translator for your own language if you want. Make sure you read all of them if you need to understand how it works and about the details, how you read the distortion maps. Every update is checked in virus total, and there is a hash key given by the virus total, which you will find in the product description page on Gumroad. So it's all virus free. Same goes for GSonic Immersive lately. And here you can also see the log folder, the debug log. And here, package a problem to report. That will give you a zip file with the debug log and whatnot, all your measurements, so I can investigate. That's all. I hope you enjoy the very special sound of Evo 32. Looking forward to hearing your feedback.